Hi everyone. So today we're going to look at a rum that is a little bit old and from a place that doesn't have much of a reputation anymore the way it once used to, and that's Nicaragua. So, Compañía de Licorera de Nicaragua, which was formed in 1937 from the San Antonio Distillery or the sugar factory, even though they've been making rum there for quite a bit longer, they've been making what we would like to term premium rums for a very long time. And it's this old Spanish style. We know all about it. The fermentation is not so important. The distillation is from a column still. It comes out at 40%, and the tastes and everything is coming from the barrel. Now, we all know that they've got the 4-year-old white, they've got a 3-year-old, I think they've got a 5, a 7, a 12, a 15. Do they have a 15? An 18, and a 21 or 25-year-old, all the way up the value chain. And now, of course, they've got all these credentials of being ecologically pure and having environmental certifications, what have you. A large part of that came because of a big problem they had about 8 or 9 years ago when the Vice magazine put out a hit piece on them relating to the chronic kidney disease that their workers were supposed to be suffering from really badly. I mean, people were going out in the fields to work in the tropical heat. They weren't getting water. They weren't being hydrated. They weren't being fed properly. They were dying. And that was a huge reputational blow to Flor de Cana, which it has ever since tried to recover from. Now, a lot of people have said that they have reformed their practices. Many people have gone down there, some journalists, some people that I know, and they say, yeah, you know what, it's really much better. But to some extent, I don't think that the brand has ever really recovered from what it once was in 2011 when I picked up this little sucker. Now, this is what they call the 21, the 21. And you would think, as a Centenario 21, that it is a 21-year-old, but it isn't. It's actually a 15-year-old meant to commemorate the turning of the century into the 21st century. It is a 40% rum. It's all the usual thing, special barrels, something that they picked up. It's a commemorative edition. I really have no idea how limited it is or it isn't. It is entirely possible that they made like 3,000 to 5,000 bottles and and that's it. It's never been reissued again. I've only ever seen 2 bottles in Calgary, and I bought both of them. I think in 2010 and 2011 it was going for about $70, which we thought was a lot of money back then. But the truth of the matter is that these days you'll never find it. At least I've never seen it again, unless you are talking about an auction. And even on auction sites, I really don't see it very much. So I think it must have been quite limited. And the real question is, how good is it? Well, I did review it. I'll put it in the show notes. And I think it actually is the best rum that Flor de Cana ever made. And that's including the new eco versions that they made, right? Now, if you remember back in the day, they actually did used to have an age statement. They always had this nonsense with this thing called slow aged. I have no idea what that means. But they did say that when they said something was 5 years old, they basically said it is 5 years old, and they made an age statement then. But then at some point they started just saying 7 or 12 or whatever, and nobody knew what that meant, and the whole business about age statements started to become in disrepute. But this predated all of that. I think this was really made around 2000, 2001, and that's why 9 years later I was still able to pick one up in Canada, but never again after that. So basically, it really is a very nice rum. It's golden in color, it's 40%. It's got these lovely standard, you might almost say Spanish style rum notes, the caramel, the vanilla. It's ex-bourbon barrels, of course. It's column still, not pot. It's what it has that's really nice is a kind of floral scent to it that's really quite pleasant. And this is both in the nose and in the palate. And the only problem I really have with it is the fact that it really goes down easy, and it's very easy to take in a hurry and drink really quickly because it's so gentle and so easy as a sipper. And that's really what it is, right? It really is a premium rum in that sense. I think it actually exceeds the 18. I think it has really nice spicy notes all over the place. It's got some cinnamon, it's got some nutmeg, it tastes of blancmange, a little bit of coffee in there, perhaps some coffee grounds, a tad bitterness, perhaps of leather and so on, some smoke. You might almost say it's standard, but it's so well done. It's so well assembled that it really does have a taste that would make it a premium and that it's worth drinking if you can find it. I doubt it'll ever go for $70 again, but it really is a very nice rum. And if it doesn't redeem Flor de Cana's reputation from what it was about 10 years ago, when people were literally pouring their shit down, down the sink and saying, "Oh, I will never buy their stuff again." Well, you know what? At least once you can, if you find it, you can try it, and it's worth it, I believe. So good luck, and I hope you do enjoy it if you ever find one. And if you don't, well, just come over here. I'll let you have some of mine. My father-in-law finished 2 bottles on my half anyway, so why don't you come over? Thanks a lot, and bye-bye.